Hi, it's 12th of July, and Shweta, you're with me. I'm just doing this quick recording just to give you a brief of what had happened yesterday and where my concerns are. I think the fundamental of our business or whatever we are trying to do is the T's. And based on that only T's, because they contain the records of customers. So record is a fundamental unit. Just like all matter, the fundamental unit of matter is molecule or atom or whatever you call it. Correct? The same way, the fundamental of these T's is records. Records is every line which contains customer data. And here the fundamental of every record is basically interaction. This is the basic material of work at elakshya, which is interaction. Interaction is recorded in column J, it automatically gets captured into column H, whatever it is. But interaction, again repeating, interaction is the basic material of all our work. Now, obviously, there are two ways by which we interact. One is by push, one is by pull. Push is where interaction happens in the form of our calling people on their database, on their mobile phones. Some of them reachable, some of them not working, some of them say later, whatever it is. Pull is when we send email or send SMS first, and customers respond to us. This is pull, where they themselves respond themselves. What I have realized yesterday, and that's where we had a discussion with the team last evening, is that the number of interactions which are recorded, and everything, as you know, I'm very clear about two or three philosophies. One is no aage dhoud, peeche chod. That's okay, leave the call. Which means, I don't want to progress ahead without being very sure about what I've done in the past. And the same way, never reinvent the wheel. They always, I keep telling these two things to you, never reinvent the wheel. I saw to my horror yesterday that, no, it doesn't matter, okay. I saw to my horror yesterday that as I said, interactions were just not being recorded. When I saw the number of mails which were happening, the mails were very low from our sides to customers or whatever. It could be people we are contacting. So therefore, I just want to very quickly pull you through a few things which are happening. Whether it's a push or a pull, the fact remains that there is a telephone call which happens, a phone call which happens. Now let's just quickly divide this. So if X is the number of calls, number of phone numbers that you are dialing, number of phone numbers that you are dialing, then what happens here is X1 is the X1 basically means not working. Some of the phone numbers are not working, it's not good. So if you need to look at NB2. If you have not seen it already, please look at it again. There is a very clear section which details clearly what we need to do as far as our phone numbers are concerned, what we need to do as far as interactions are concerned. If you have not seen NB2, again look at NB2. X1 not working. If not working, you need to put a NW before that mobile number. X2, where the customer, it's ringing and not being picked up, whatever it is, ringing, not being picked up. If it is X2, then you have to mark it in yellow and then call them later. Mark what in yellow? Mark only the cell in yellow, that particular cell in yellow, and call later. It's also very clearly given. X3, where the prospect or customer, whatever, picks up the phone, picks up and says, call me later, whatever. For that, if the person says call me later, then obviously you have to once again mark in yellow and put the future in I think in column G or B or some column is there where future date of discussions is written there. Future date of discussions. So mark that also, so that we know that we need to speak to this person at this point of time. That is X3. X4 is where the prospect picks up and the prospect yells, and the prospect yells means shouts, saying, "Never, who asked you to call me? Don't call me at all." If that is the case, mark that cell in red so that we never call that person again. And X5 is that thing where we discuss with prospect, take down whatever details, and which includes Gmail ID and date of birth, whatever, and proceed with the discussion, proceed with the call. And X6 is that category which Gopal pointed out yesterday, which is basically those customers, those prospects who do not use computers. These are not our those prospects who do not use computers. Obviously, these are not our prospects at all. We don't want these people at all. Now, the process is very clearly given in NB2 again. You call now some numbers, whether it's a push or pull, is the same thing, right? Ringing not being picked up, yellow. Prospect picks up and call later, also yellow. Prospect yells and picks up, red. If the number itself is not working, it's NW before the mobile number you put. Otherwise, you discuss with prospect, take down whatever details. When you take down whatever details, what do you do with the call? You do the following things, right? You clean up the record. You mention the latest interactions in J column. You mark in Z column the details, the date of creation of the .elakshya file, date of creation of D file, so that you are able to later create the D file, and later during the day, whatever, you actually transfer the record contents. The record contents means basically the Gmail ID and the spreadsheet key and the mobile number. You transfer the record contents to your for DES2 or whatever it is, for DESP and all, and then as you do that, mark the whole record in that T in blue. This is the process. After that, what do you do? I mean, before that, mention the latest interaction column J, and along with this, you also send a mail to the customer. There are three kinds of mail approaches which are there. One approach is send random mail giving latest discussions. One is random mail giving jazzy mail, and the third one is, I think, random mail only sending the .elakshya link, something like that. Whatever. For individual customers, there are interactions which are there. So, for every these are basically XY is basically proper interactions. For proper interactions, these are the things which are required. You need to clean up the record. You need to send a mail to the customer. We need to mention the latest interaction. This is why is this important? I mean, you guys are going to be there only for a short time, but I need to have the customer CRM. It's called CRM, customer relationship management. I need to have all the customer records of past, previous, old, from the beginning interactions there, right there. Who has interacted, what has been discussed, what has not been discussed. Here again, if you have any future date for discussing something with the customer, again that has to be recorded here. Also future date to be recorded. Every interaction with the customer has to, the point is again this, every interaction with the customer, I think I again put it here. Interaction with the customer, this is a basic work material, has to be recorded and mail sent. I have just seen that the number of mails, see, I'm sure that just to give a quick thumbnail of whatever is happening, let's say in the last 1 month or 1.5 months you guys have been doing interactions. Those interactions among let's say 4 or 5 of you, at least about, each of you I'm sure at least I have done about 50 interactions per day. 50 interactions per day into 5 people into let's say 35 working days is equal to 250 into 35. 250 into 35 would be approximately about 8,000 interactions. I cannot believe how many of those interactions will fall into X2, X1, X2, X3, X4. I mean, we are only talking about X5. In fact, even those X3 where the customer says that he can call me later, even those can be recorded as long as you have the email to the customer. Those can be recorded and mail sent to customer. Mail sent to customer saying later. saying we will call you later. So out of all these x1 to x5, I do not know how many of them is x1, x2, x3, x4 or x6. I would assume that at least about 20% of them would be x6. I mean, sorry, x5. At least 20% of them, or maybe 10%. Why 20%? 10%. So we are talking about a minimum of 800 interactions, proper interactions. And therefore, as a result of the 800 interactions, we're talking about 800 mails. Because every interaction needs a mail, right? You know how many mails I've got in comparison to that? I have a total of 18 mails. As against 8, because point is those interactions have not been captured. Those again, my all the time a message remains, no, aage dhoud, peeche chod, don't we reinvent the wheel, and hava, because all the discussions have gone to hava only. I am very concerned about that, because obviously it's not important for you guys who are going to leave in some time. It's important for me. It's important for the future people who come in, because we need to keep the CRM of the customer. So my quick request to all you guys, and spend half the day doing it, and these people have already been instructed about it. I want this whole thing to be captured in all respects, completely in all respects, whatever it is you are working in. And for example, yesterday I saw one tea which was 14T which was yours, where please do not do things, or please do not do things which are not in process. For example, some of them are I know a few records. I think that was Sinjo's thing, where some thing saying in some column called some comment was written. Some comment called customer not something in some column which is not rated at all. Do not do that. If you think that you need to do that, then come and tell me and I will put a process in place. I think that all the points I have covered by this red color, blue color, yellow color, whatever it is. But if you find a need for a separate process or a separate thing, please come and tell me. I will implement it for the whole team instead of each of you, because the message and the point is, every one of those records, every record here in the T, every record is important for various purposes. Everything is important. I mean, I think that we have spent a lot. I have spent a lot of time engineering the whole thing so that every record actually talks with each other, and everything is important. Suddenly somebody writes something OOP here in this something, I don't know what even that means. Suddenly somebody just marks this part to this part in red. I don't know why. If you think that it is important, absolutely no, I have no worries, no problems, nothing at all. But let us implement it. Let us figure out what it is for, what purpose it serves, and implement it for the whole team. Why ad hoc? Means why only for you? So my request to you is, let us follow this process. Process is there in NB2. Let us follow this process. If you feel that something has to be marked in some color or whatever you're doing it, do not do it for yourself. Immediately come and tell me. We will implement it for the whole team. We will implement it for whole team. So I just wanted to quickly request each of you guys to go back to your T's, okay? And this is very important. If you have not done any interaction or whatever it is, and please clean this up. Please remove the red color, separate red color, whatever is there. Please follow the process. So spend whatever time. I have got your quizzes ready. I will the minute you are able, you come back to me. It could be even 10 minutes. It could be even 10 hours. The minute you come back to me and say that, look, as far as I am concerned, I have cleaned it up to the best of my ability, I will have you guys start the quizzes. There are quizzes on IRD, the quizzes on MP, which I would want you guys to start taking. They are all ready with me. I have not put them online, but they are absolutely ready. You guys can start it. But I am worried about aage dhoud, peeche chod, and therefore I am requesting you guys to do this. Am I clear? Excellent. Good. Okay. Was there anything else? I think this was it. If you have any doubts, obviously you guys can see in NB2. NB2 will have all the details. Okay.